And welcome once again to the Biblepay Show. This is episode 2 of season 1, and we'd like to thank MNS76 for our intro, and I think that just kind of goes to show what kind of community we have here at Biblepay. I don't really know MNS beyond just through the Biblepay community, and I don't think he really knows me beyond just through the Biblepay community, but here we are. He's like, man, you need an intro, and I can do that for you, and he has, and I think it's awesome. We're also going to use it for the outro. I mean, that's what we call in the radio business a little foreshadowing. But anyway, I'm 616 West Warmouth. Over there.
Hey, I'm Togo.
There you go. This is the Biblepay Show. It's no longer the unnamed Biblepay Show. It's now just the generically named Biblepay Show. It is May 31st, 2018 when we're recording this. So again, the standard disclaimer applies. Some of the things we talk about may be a little outdated for you if you're watching this at some point in the future. And if we're famous in the future, you can say you knew us back then. Anyway, let's just kind of do a quick rundown of where the coin stands. Biblepay is the cryptocurrency for Christians. You want to do the breakdown of our block distribution, how the coins are distributed, the percentages?
Oh yeah, sure. So with Biblepay, 10% of all coins that are ever mined go directly to charity. And then think about 3% of the coins go to proof of work mining, which we call heat mining. And then 38.5% goes towards people running, science research programs on their computers. And then another 38.5% goes to masternode owners, which we call them sanctuaries. And then another 10% also goes into our monthly budget, with the other 10% charity, and it funds our IT expenses, our public relations, and all other sorts of work and things that we need money for. Because Biblepay had no pre-mine, it has no money of its own. It bootstraps itself with its own coins every month, and the masternodes all decide on how to use those coins. So that's
there you go. I mean, I couldn't set any better there. Our current version is 1.1.2.4, the last mandatory version. So if you're at least on 1.1.2.2, you are current as far as compatibility with this current blockchain. We're at about 680 million coins. When we started doing the research for today's show, we were on block 49,799. I'm thinking we're probably about 7 blocks past that, because that was about an hour ago. But the next PODC Superblock is 49,815. See, that's what I did yesterday, or on the first take. I was looking at the last stats on the left-hand side as opposed to the new stats on the right-hand side. The last block that was mined, or that I looked at, was 49,799, just to give you an idea what the rewards looked like. The proof of Biblepay hash, or proof of work heat miner, got 497 Biblepay, which could have been a member of the pool, could have been the pool, it could have been an individual. And the lucky sanctuary got 4,473. Right now there's 228 masternodes. That's up about 12 masternodes from where we were a week ago, but there is a little bit of a hiccup with that, and we'll talk about that here in a second. The daily proof of distributed computing superblock, PODC superblock, due to the fact we've hit a new coin month, the emission schedule has dropped by 1.5%, so down to 1.14 million. And as of right now, the price is 41 Satoshi, and that is worth just over 0.3 of 1 cent. And we'll look at the coin market cap, and we'll just kind of start from there. So there's where we're at. Our market cap overall is just over $2 million. That's with this circulating supply. Our 24-hour volume has kind of shrunk a little bit, but it was hot and heavy there for a little bit. We're at about a sixth of a Bitcoin 24-hour volume. Looking at a couple of other coins, just for comparison, Gridcoin, which we share some overlap with the proof of distributed computing. That's the way they generate a lot of coins as well. Their price is at 518 Satoshi, or about 3.8 cents, 3.88 cents. Their market cap about 15 million, so 7.5 times where we're at. And their 24-hour volume was almost 4 Bitcoin worth, so they're doing pretty good there. We did talk about a few other coins last time, one of which was Byteball. I thought I had that stat up and running, but let's look at where Bitcoin is at the last 24 hours. Bitcoin's kind of been on a little bit of a resurgence, but the last week has not been real good for Bitcoin. It's at $7,496.97. Ethereum's at $573 and change. Ripple's at 61 cents. Bitcoin Cash is just shy of $1,000, $994. And the token EOS, which I know nothing about, is at $12.39. The other one I would like to drop down to is Dash, since we owe a lot to Dash. $305.79, a market cap of $2.477 billion.
Whew.
That makes my brain hurt a little bit, but nonetheless. So, let's talk about the warts of Biblepay. Let's just get it out of the way. The last week has not been pretty for Biblepay, and we've had the Superblock bug. You want to talk about that? It's not something we can get a booster shot
sure.
for.
So basically, every day we have a daily Superblock that pays out all of the science researchers for all of the work that they've done. But we also have a monthly budget Superblock that pays out for our 10% charity and our 10% IT and PR and other things. And the problem is, right now in the code, these two Superblocks conflict with each other. And so we have to let the budget Superblock win so that we can pay to keep sponsoring our orphans and pay people for their work, which means the proof of distributed computing Superblock does not get paid out. So all the science researchers don't get paid for the day, which isn't too bad. It's 1 out of every 30 days this is happening. But it causes another problem, because in order to proof of work heat mine, you have to have some of the PODC magnitude in order to solve a block. And if you don't have that, it can take 15 minutes before you are then allowed to solve a block. And on top of this, there's another slight bug where people's debug.log files were getting filled up with tons and tons of debug messages to where it was then crashing their Biblepay from running. So this caused some network instability, and it caused people hey, am I on the right chain? But the good news is that we got to the next PODC Superblock and everything's stable now.
So yeah, if you had some problems, one thing you do want to check if you're a masternode owner, a sanctuary owner, you want to make sure your sanctuary is showing in the correct status, that it's showing enabled, because if it's not showing enabled, you have a potential problem where you may not get paid. So you may want to double check and make sure that's working. If you run it on Linux, you very well may find your debug log has filled up and you're not in good shape. So go there, fix that, and delete that debug log, restart your system, and you should be in pretty good shape. The other PODC problem that we're having is the World Community Grid, which is sponsored by IBM. They're taking the European Union's new digital privacy laws fairly seriously. That's not allowing third parties to really get the data from World Community Grid like they were. And the problem for us is because each sanctuary gets a copy of that data, there's some question on whether or not each sanctuary needs a license from the World Community Grid to use that data, or if Biblepay as a whole can essentially get the license and then disperse that to all the sanctuary owners. So for the time being, the RAC, recent average credit earned by World Community Grid users, is not accumulating because we can't track that. We can't verify what you've done. And Rob made a little bit of a controversial decision, but it was probably the right one, which was the idea is that if you do World Community Grid, since the projects don't give you as much RAC, we give a multiplier to that to even it out with Rosetta at home. That multiplier is 1.5. Well, we can't get an updated tally. It's not fair to people that have been researching at World Community Grid to just totally shut them off, but it's not fair to let them keep having that pre-earned figure of RAC, because theoretically they could move all their RAC to Rosette at Home and double dip. So what Rob has done is he said, well, every day that's going to reduce by 1/10 of a percent, 1/10 of a point. So 1.5 to 1.4 to 1.3 until we get to 0. Or if IBM gets things worked out, which you would think a company like that might have a little resources that they could throw at the problem, and it works out in a way that we can take advantage of it with our structure, then it'll just get turned right back on. Which is why personally I'm still mining, or still have some workers at World Community Grid, is I'm pretty optimistic it'll get resolved before I hit 0. But you never know. You never know. Looking at where we're at, we don't have any real stats for World Community Grid because, like I said, the numbers have been more or less turned off. But at Rosetta at Home, we're kind of on a tear. Last time we talked, we were the 9th overall in total credit at $502 million. So 2 weeks later, we're up to $603 million total credit. Our RAC at Rosetta at Home is $8.2 million, and our credits that we did yesterday was $10.6 million. And again, I think that's a lot of people on World Community Grid shifting their hash rates over to Rosetta at Home. We're 5th overall total credits all time. So in the 13 years that Rosetta at Home's been around, and the basically 3.5 months that we've been here, we're number 5 of all time. In about 3 days we'll be number 4, and shortly after the 4th of July holiday here in the States, I don't know what they call it in Britain, maybe we're not real happy with you holiday, we should be in 3rd place. I really don't know. I will have to ask one of my guys that I've helped with a masternode over in the UK, how do you guys look at the 4th of July? I mean, I'm sure it's probably just another day. It's been 200 and some odd years. Surely you don't hold a grudge about it, but you never know. We still love the Queen. I mean, we watch your weddings and stuff. Anyway, let's move on. The other wart that we need to talk about is our primary exchange, CSEX. Tell us what's happening.
So CSEX is going into limited service mode for the next 3 months. They're going on summer vacation. And so what this means is that you won't be able to deposit any coins or withdraw any coins from the CSEX exchange for 3 months. So this is really unfortunate. And but they did give a tweet out just recently. They actually went into limited service mode about 2 or 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. But they did tweet out that they may go into full mode every now and then, and that they'll tweet about it. So you may want to follow their Twitter if you still have some coins stuck on there, or if you still want to just have some coins to be on there, because you can still trade. You can still fully trade. You just can't withdraw and deposit coins.
And I guess the risk would be that, you know, the scare was last time that there were people that were worried that, oh no, they're leaving, they're not going to come back, it's all going to be lost. And I'll be honest, I wasn't on that camp entirely, but I was like, well, there may be some coins that I never see again.
Yeah, and you always have to be careful. And there's this phrase in the community is, not your private keys, not your coins.
Yeah.
And so when your coins are up on, an exchange like this, they're not totally yours.
Right.
And you have to be careful. And we actually have had a really small exchange that we were on, Coins Markets. They went offline for a while, and it's been 5 or 6 months, and they're still not back up with us. So. And who knows if they will come back up? We don't know. The verdict's still out.
Yeah, and it just that's kind of the risk that you face with a small coin, which would honestly we're a small coin. You compare us, I think we're in the 700s. I'm not sure if you count just coins where we're at. I'll look and see while you're. But
yeah, but in other good news, we are on Biblepay is still on 2 other exchanges. We are on South Exchange, and we are on QIEX, which is based in Hong Kong, China. And you actually had some good news to share about QIEX.
Yeah, and let's pull up that tweet real quick. Let me run through my windows here, and there we go. Here's the tweet that QIEX, and I keep wanting to put you in there. It says, "Very happy to announce we will participate in BBP's charity events. QIEX will donate BBP's pair exchange fees, BBP USDT, US dollar, and BBP BTC, including BBP, USDT, and BTC. Detailed cooperation will be announced in the near future. Thank you for all your help with BBP at Biblepay and QIEX. And what that essentially means, or what we're understanding that to mean, is that means we will be receiving the orphan fund, the orphan wallet specifically, will be receiving a lot of extra income, or some extra income, that they will be donating some, if not all, of the exchange fees, because at most exchanges you'll pay anywhere between 0.2 and 0.4%. So if you buy $1 worth of coin, you only really get 99.8 cents to 99.6 cents worth of coins. So
yeah, so that's amazing that they're donating us their fees, their trading fees, and they've also been really awesome. They actually release a weekly update about us on their website, and they're actually translating our white paper into Chinese.
Which if you've not seen the new white paper, that we need to give mad props to, because that is crazy awesome.
Yeah, I believe it was Knox Post.
I believe so.
Yeah, he did an amazing job on it.
So yeah, if you've not seen it, it looks real good. It puts forth the face that we really, I think is indicative of what we really are all about. I mean, the Biblepay community is a pretty big community. Maybe it's not the biggest community out there, and we're still a small coin, but we're a pretty tight-knit community. And unfortunately, some of what we've had has not really reflected how awesome we are, and I say that in a humble way. I know that doesn't really sound that way, but you know, the things that we do, the adulations that we probably rightly deserve for supporting charity and for you know, doing the BOINC, you know, supporting cancer research and supporting other research. We've had a hard time really showing that to other people, that we're what we're really up to and what we're doing. And the new white paper really does a good job, I think, of showing where we're at. Makes us look very professional, and that's another thing. We'll just fast forward to kind of one of my usual closing comments, is that, you know, the main developer, Rob, he has done a fantastic job with this coin. He gets all the credit, which no one gives him, and then he gets all the blame, which everyone gives him. But we are far, far away ahead of where we should be on a coin of our size, despite the fact I think we have a lot to offer to the cryptocurrency community. We are you know, doing real great, and it's almost all because of him. I mean, the community has supported him, and, you know, people like yourself, myself, Yop, and, you know, Mips and Luke. I mean, there's been a lot of people that are supporting, but without the central product, we couldn't really do anything to support. I was looking up where we're at for in the list of all coins, and just in coins, not counting tokens, we're number 776. Aww. I was so excited when I saw. I was like, "Oh, we're in the 700s. Oh, we're really in the 700s. Oh, we're 776. Oh well." But I was hoping for 777. One better though. I guess that's a positive. But anyway, so that QIEX, there's some liquidity there, and it'd be nice to get on more exchanges. And actually, that's the other good news that we've got, or you've got.
So we actually applied to a lot of different exchanges. Most of them have never replied back. But Cryptobridge is interested in us, and they're listing fees 1 Bitcoin, and they are interested in listing us. And I put it up to a vote in the Masternode Proposal Network, and the vote passed. And we're going to use our exchange funds that Jop has been saving up to pay the listing fee to get listed. And so we should be getting listed probably at the end of June, hopefully, after our mandatory upgrade.
And you were telling me off show why, and I think it's kind of interesting why we're actually going to wait. Even though CSEX is going to be down, you'd think we'd be rushing to get get on this, but there's actually a pretty good reason why we don't want to do that.
Yeah, they charge an extra fee if you have a mandatory release within 1 month of getting listed. So we want to avoid paying that extra. I think it's half a Bitcoin. Um, and the cool thing is Cryptobridge is a decentralized exchange, and so I don't know that much about decentralized exchanges at all. So that'll be interesting.
So we'll research that a little bit more and be able to talk about that next show. Hopefully in a couple weeks we'll talk about. This sounds like a wrap up already. We're only halfway through the show. We'll talk a little bit about how that works and how Cryptobridge works and what people can expect to be able to use there. And then we'll also talk about the next mandatory upgrade, because those two things will be closely related. But the other big news is there's a Android wallet, but now we have what?
We have an Apple iOS.
Yeah, I can never remember the digits. iOS, there it is. I couldn't find my notes, and I'm like, I don't have a smartphone, so and you're like, I've shot all my credibility. Now they're like, why is this guy talking, not the other one? He has a smartphone at least. Come on now. But yeah, so the iOS, that's MIP's work as well, isn't it?
Yes, that is MIP. I don't know why I use initials to. I just say the letters. It's so weird. But yeah, that's MIP. He made the Android wallet, the Android mobile wallet. He's now made the Apple iOS mobile wallet, and it's in testing, and he's been in communication with Apple, and we're in beta testing. So if you want to come help download it, test it out, that would be awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, and that just goes to show the community that we have around us is pretty good and is doing all these things, because there's a lot of work to be done, but there's a lot of people who are willing to do the work, and that's just awesome, I think.
Yeah, if I could just note one further, that's kind of the beauty of this whole internet cryptocurrency thing, is that we're able to use resources of anyone from all over the entire world. We have people from all different countries all helping make Biblepay better.
I guess that transitions nicely into this, which is this is the last Superblock, which was at block 49,200 a couple days ago, May 28th at 4:15. When the wheels fell off the bus in some ways, the wheels were going well for the Superblock. And this is just an accounting from Biblepay Central, which is a great place if you've not been, biblepaycentral.org. Highly advise you go there. There's some great how-to documents there, and there's a lot of good stuff on there. That's where you can kind of get an estimate what your proof of distributing computing is going to round out. But this page is the Superblock budget, and this shows, for instance, Charity, Cameroon won round 3. They got 125,000 Biblepay to round out their main proposal. And a little interesting thing on that was actually not a new proposal. That was I think you explained it really well in the rough draft of the show.
Yeah, so so the price of Biblepay can fluctuate, and so they initially requested $4,000 worth of coins, but by the time they got the coins, the price had fallen some, so they only got maybe $2,500 worth of coins. So they've been trying to catch up and get back up to $4,000 worth. And it's just interesting because when you're doing these proposals, you're getting funded or paid in Biblepay coins. And Biblepay can be very volatile. It can go up and down. So you have to be careful when you are doing these proposals, to knowing that the price could go up or down.
And that's one thing we would like to remind is if you are a volunteer like Togo is and Yop and I guess myself as well, when you submit a proposal, you're expected to shoulder some of that risk. And what that really means is, ultimately, if I do a proposal and I say I need $20 for this, because when I did the logo contest, I said it's this much. Actually, I don't think I ever submitted a proposal for that. It's a bad example, but nonetheless, submitted a proposal for that was what it was. I listed at one of the masternode sites, so I paid up front. Said, hey, I paid this amount of Bitcoin to them, and when I submitted the proposal, that amount of Bitcoin would have bought this other amount of Bible pay. When it came time to actually pay, I got that number of Bible pay, but that number of Bible pay was worth a little bit more. And the expectation is if you get more than you ask for, that's just kind of a reward. And if you get the right number, but it's a lower numeric value than you asked for, that's just part of the risk of doing it. And you were talking before about how Dash actually kind of averages things out a little bit better and may be a little bit more of a fair system.
Yeah, they use a 30-day moving average from what I've seen. So it'll be interesting to see how we evolve on this with this proposal budget system, to see how we value things and how we pay for things. Because it's all still very new. We're all very new to this.
And the nice thing is we're kind of laying the groundwork for the future. But I don't know what I'm doing with my arm over there. I just was trying to find a spot for it. Now I'm like, boy, that looks really weird on camera. Get my nails done off scene. Don't worry about it. But let's go back to the proposals. So there was a canoeing trip for children from the children's home. That was about $400,000 Bible pay. The May 2018 Compassion Recurring Orphanage sponsorships was $7 million. That's usually the bulk of our fees. And the cool thing we're doing there is prepay. You want to talk a little bit about the prepay? How we prepay?
So just how we were just talking about how Bible pay can be volatile. We're sponsoring these orphans, and we want to make sure that we're going to be able to keep sponsoring these orphans, even if the price of our coin goes down. So we're prepaying our sponsorships for all 310 orphans with compassion. So we're actually prepaid now for the next 3 months, and we're aiming to prepay for the next 6 months. And then at that point, we'll start adding on more sponsorships.
And again, just to clarify or to expand or extend, I guess, is that's just to minimize the risk, because just when the last batch of Bible pay was sold, the price of Bible pay briefly dropped to about 1/10 of a cent. And if that price had stayed there, that would have been bad news. That would mean we would have 1/3 as much money as we're used to on a Superblock. Now, it rebounded nicely to about where we've been traditionally for the last couple months. But the risk is that if we ever have a real big downward drag in price, which would most likely be an overall market drag, because we tend to stay roughly about the same number of Satoshi, or same equivalent number of Bitcoin, but a Bitcoin has varied substantially over the last 6 months. And the risk is that if we overextend with our sponsorships, we could have a month where, hey, we can sponsor 800 orphans, and we do, and then the next month we have half as much money, and what do you do with those 400 children who have come to depend on us, and we're no longer able to make that impact in their lives. Let's just round out the rest of the proposals here, and we've got Bible Pay website work by Z. Thomas Z., which when we were doing the draft of this show, I said it was too late to call him, and it's definitely too late to call him now. April 2018 IT expenses, which Rob's been trying to absorb as much of the IT budget without shorting anyone else, so we're a couple months behind, but he just kind of puts in proposals for the remainder of what's left over and takes his salary, as it were. Cryptobridge exchange listing, 2,500 Bible pay, compensation for Yop for all the work he's been doing, about 500,000 Bible pay. The Mac OS compiles to do that wallet, the iOS wallet, mobile wallet, 270,000 Bible pay. Bible Pay Central relaunch and additional work by Light was, I believe, 600,000. I got to count my numbers. Yep, 600,000. That was work from both April and May. And then the new wallet design, which the new wallet looks gorgeous, 151,000 and change to Marcus Antonius. That passed overwhelmingly. PR, we had a couple mixed bags of PR for you, because you are our PR guru. The hard copy guide, which was being done by Habib, which I'm not real sure where that's at, but I'm anxious to see. The exchange round funding for round 3, and the extra funding, because we had some extra PR money running around, or coin running around. And the exchange funding, explain how that kind of works.
Yeah, so for most exchanges, they require a listing fee, usually of 1, 2, 5, 10 Bitcoin, in order to get your coin listed onto their exchange. And since BiblePay had no pre-mine, we have no outsider funding or anything. We only self-fund ourselves through this monthly budget. And so what we're doing here is we're saving up coins and converting them into Bitcoin and saving that up for any future exchange listing fees. So for instance, with Cryptobridge, it's going to cost us 1 Bitcoin to get listed, and that's currently all the money that we've saved so far is worth about 1 Bitcoin. So now with these, this extra 1.5 million, an extra 1.2 million BiblePay coins, we'll be able to sell those into Bitcoin and just save onto those for our next listing fee. For instance, we have an offer from CoinExchange.io. They have a 2 Bitcoin listing fee.
So that's the
we're just trying to save up for the future.
When we have a proposal, it's not necessarily, that's just kind of piggy bank. There we go. I was like, what are those things called? They look like little pork guys, and nonetheless. Let's see. I think that's getting to the end of our list of things to talk about. So I can't remember anything else we talked about in the rough draft that we haven't talked about here.
Yeah, that's basically it.
So check out BiblePay Central if you're a new user. Check out the main website, biblepay.org. We'll put some links on the bottom to the other places. Bitcoin Talk announce page. There's a lot of discussion goes on there. A lot happens on Twitter and Slack and Discord. There's the Reddit page. There's a lot of ways to get informed, and hopefully this is just one more way. If you've got questions about BiblePay, you can... Togo and I are on Discord a lot. You're on there more than I am anymore. I had a little vacation for 30 days, and I was on a lot, but not so much anymore. But I'm on there pretty regularly. Togo's on there pretty regularly. If you have Masternode questions, I have got kind of a reputation for being the Masternode Jedi, which I don't know how I got, but I'm more than happy to help out anybody because they can be a little bit confusing, and I am diligently. I know 2 weeks ago I said I would have a Masternode video out, and then I'll tell you what happened was I was like, well, I got back to work and work was busy, and boy, I just didn't have time to do it. And then next thing I knew, there was this Superblock budget coming up, and I was like, well, I'll just wait until after the Superblock budget. And good thing I did, because things got a little offsides. I'm always around to help with masternodes. If you shoot me a message, Togo's around. If you have any general questions about the coin, he can help you with masternodes if he's around. We're willing and ready to help. If you got any questions, you can post them below. If you've got a name for the show besides BiblePay Show Season 1, Episode 3, which otherwise that'll be our next one. I'll try and hit it in about 2 weeks. As I said before, we'll be aiming to talk about the next mandatory release, which should happen sometime in June, which will be ahead of the next monthly PODC budgetary Superblock. So hopefully the issues we've seen the last couple days won't recur. And in fact, actually, what Rob has said is he's got those fixes ready to go, and it's just a matter of he didn't want to do another mandatory because it's inconvenient for the exchanges. We'll also try and talk a little bit about how things are going on the exchanges. Hopefully by then we'll be close to knowing how Cryptobridge works, and we can talk a little bit about that, even if we're not quite on it yet, because like Togo said, we'll need to wait till the next mandatory comes out. Really, things are looking good. Hopefully the iOS wallet's going forward. The BBP pool, which I didn't talk about in the draft, the BBP pool is kind of hopefully there to help get around the idea that it is kind of hard to get started in BiblePay because it's a chicken and egg sort of thing. You have to have RAC, but to have RAC you have to have stake, and how do you get stake without purchasing it? And maybe you have computer power, but getting on an exchange may be difficult for you, and maybe you just can't get enough through writing letters to orphans, which that's something we've not talked about today, but you can get paid for work to the coin. You can get if you write letters to the orphans that we sponsor, you can do that, and if your letter is selected, you'll get a reward for doing that. There's a very small faucet kind of thing that I don't think works at the moment. There's set to be a airdrop here in the near future, I think. So We're trying to get more Biblepay out into your hands so you can use it, so you can mine with us, and you can be a part of our community. But if you have any questions, just ask. If you have any suggestions for a title of the show, please give them to us. You might even see Togo smile if it's a really good one. But did I miss anything there, Togo?
You did perfect. But yeah, if there's any sort of work you want to do for Biblepay or any way you can contribute, we would love that. You can actually potentially be funded in Biblepay coins if you put up a proposal and it passes. So if you have any sort of skills that you could add to the project, we would love it. We usually have a hard time filling up our monthly budget.
Yeah. And at some point, it's probably going to get a little easier to submit proposals. I hear there's some people working on that, but we will see. I'm trying to rename something on the fly so I can know what it is next time. There we go. So I think that covers it. Thank you for tuning in. Check out the links below. Check us out. We'll try and be back here about the middle of June talking about those things, and we appreciate you tuning in. Thank you again, Togo, for all your help, and maybe next time we'll get Luke or Z Thomas on the show. We'll try and do something fun. But thank you so much.